Hi, it's Tess. For those that don't know me, I'm a bariatric patient. I am in my 9th year, I believe, post-surgical, and I've been going live for about 3 years, and I go live as a way kind of to stay accountable, to keep trying to move forward and stay engaged and keep improving. I think that there's a lot in this world that we can do, and I want to stay as healthy and as active as I can as long as I can. Today I was going to talk about aging, is it reversible? And I found this book here, You Staying Young, and I was looking at it, and I'm always curious about what the latest and greatest is, and how can we help improve things. Because I will say that for my journey, for those that don't know, I started a BMI of over 60, so I'm not all the way where I want to be, but knowing that I more or less saved my life is something that I'm grateful for, and I want to continue to improve. I think there's so much in this world that all of us can do if we keep our health together so that we can keep moving forward. And what I thought was kind of interesting is I'm really going to dig into this book too, because it's talking a lot about brain health, and I think that's really important. And I know that there's a lot of talk like with dementia and Alzheimer's. Again, I'm not medical and I'm not giving medical advice, but I'm just curious to learn for my own purposes. And even for the mobility of the body, being heavier, you tend to leverage, and then you have to relearn how to use your body. And I think there's so many areas where even small steps can kind of take you further and help you to accomplish more in life. And that's what I'm looking for me, is I just study, learn, watch, and try to challenge myself to something that I couldn't do so that I can keep moving forward. And that's really important to me. I don't see who's on with me, so thank you for whoever is giving me thumbs up. I do appreciate you being here. I just don't see who you are, but thank you. And I think this is all so important, and I want to keep moving forward. And I'm going to read a passage that is in this book that kind of hit me, because something I've been noticing, because I've been traveling now. I don't know if it's because we were locked down for a period of time and people are coming out, but it seems like to me the more I travel, the more I'm seeing people that need to be assisted to and from a plane. I have seen cases where there's like 8 to 10 people. And although I want people to get help that need it, what my goal is for myself personally is to be as healthy and as strong and be challenging every possible thing that I can do with my body. I don't want to be stupid, but I want to be pushing. I want to be pushing and seeing what I can accomplish, because I think that we don't use everything that is available to us. So this this book was talking about nobody wants to spend their golden years on diets of Jell-O, suffering from bed sores, or not remembering the previous 9 decades. And I think that says a lot right in that statement. We don't want to be stuck in a bed with bed sores and Jell-O and that be our life. We want to be traveling, experiencing, creating, living, sharing. I think that's what it's about. If it's just living in a bed with bed sores and Jell-O, I don't know what the quality is in that. It says you want to feel like you're 30 even if you're 80, and that I agree with. You want to have the wisdom of a grandparent without feeling like one, and I agree with that. So the goal is not to get to 120 unless you can do it with quality. And I think that's the interesting thing that I want to follow up and to keep learning on, is that how do you do it with quality? And a lot of it is the same. It's that healthy lifestyle that we're all hearing about, that we all know about. We all know we can take steps. But what I thought was really kind of cool about this that I'm going to keep looking into, because there's a whole section on the brain, and that intrigues me because I've been seeing things recently that sugar is impacting so many illnesses that people get. So I want to understand more about the brain. But basically the 3 key areas that they say are nature's best remedies for beating aging are: 1, eating less food; 2, increasing our strength, which means being active, not being Jell-O and bedridden; and 3, quality sleep. So these are all basic fundamentals that we all know, and I guess it's a case of analyzing, can you do something to improve that as you move forward? And I think for all of us, I think that's my goal and why I stay engaged in the journey. Do I stumble sometimes? I absolutely do. But I keep knowing that if I keep getting up and I keep trying, I've made it 9 years, and the last time I didn't make it 30 days and things were out of control. So I think it's just about taking each day and being better than you were the day before, and finding something that you want to fight for, or you want to be able to be there for, or to share with, or to contribute to, or be a part of. And know that in order to do that, you're going to have to take care of you. I honestly feel, for me, I feel decades healthier, decades younger than I did when I went into surgery. When I went into trying to go down this path, it was this time is the second time I've lost over 100 pounds. But the first time I started gaining it back immediately because I didn't have the right mindset. I didn't understand that my thoughts could be blocking me from moving forward. And that is probably a big obstacle I've had most of my life. And I think that that's one that we all need to work on. But now that I work on that, and I continue to work on that every day, the other areas need to come into play. Can I restrict more calories? Can I adjust the kind of foods I'm eating? Can I increase my strength? And I even just posted on my own page a reel because they were talking about, somebody jumped, and they were saying that if that made you cringe, these are exercises you can do to build up your knee. And I thought, these are just all things we can all do. When we were kids, we were running around like crazy. As we got older, we had more sedentary lives. So what can we do to improve our lives as we move forward? So it says, no matter what your past life is, there is a reversible. You can reverse some of the aging. And what was really kind of cool about what I found in this book is that in 3 years' time, by making changes, 3 years will make it look like that good habit was a part of your life for all of your life. Now that amazed me. I couldn't, and I started thinking about it because my dad, both my parents actually smoked when I was a kid. And when it said 3 years can make it appear that a good habit has been part of your whole life, I started thinking about when my dad quit smoking, and both of my parents were smokers. And I'm going to say, I don't know, it's been so many years, I can't remember who was a heavier smoker. Part of me wants to say because my dad was in a factory, he probably was, but I don't know for sure because he has been no cigarettes for years. But I can remember as he was getting away from the cigarettes, he would say, everything tastes better. Then he would say, I can see better. Then he would say, oh, things smell better. I smell things that I didn't smell before. So I can remember over a period of a couple of years, things that he recognized and that he changed. And it was all because he let go of cigarettes that he got back some of the senses that were polluted. And I'm going to say, like, even for me, I know that I've often talked about pre-surgical, because I didn't feel good, and I did have some medical conditions that really created some problems for me, but because I didn't feel good and I was eating fast food, I thought that was doing the best for myself, and it wasn't until I had surgery and I walked away from it for a period of time that I truly recognized the chemical taste in foods. I had no idea there were so many chemicals in foods. I do see a few people on, so thank you for being here. I just don't see the names. But I was shocked after, I think it took about 2 years. And the first time I walked down a candy aisle after going down this journey, and that I did not have a memory of what any of that candy tasted like. That was a gift to myself. And then the second thing was I recognized that food had a chemical flavor to it if it was processed or if it was restaurants. Oh, there's Drew. Hey, Drew, good to see you. And Tanya, good to see you too. Thank you guys for being here. But that was a big wake-up call for me to know that I was doing horrible things to my body. I could not believe that when I had walked away from fast food, because that was one of the things that I was kind of addicted to pre-surgical, there's a chemical flavor. There is a chemical taste to foods. And during lockdown, one of the greatest gifts was I got my parents away from the buy one, get one free sandwiches because they couldn't go out much anyway. And when my dad called me and told me that he actually could taste the chemicals in the processed stuff, that was a win too. And I think that's all what it's all about. I'm going to keep looking through this book, You Staying Young. And it's not that I desire to look like I'm 20 years old, but I want to have a body that I can do just about anything I want to do because I have the energy and the strength to keep moving forward. I want to hang out at the events with Drew or any of the rest of you guys that allow us to network together and build things together. Yeah, yeah, because even yeah, Tanya is talking about how addictive foods are, and they definitely are. And I think sugar has an addictive quality to it, because you'll crave it. And I've heard people talk about that, and I've often known that about myself too. I've kind of tried to get to a point where if I'm someplace and I'm never going to have an opportunity again, then maybe it's something I want. But if it's something that I'm going to be exposed to a lot, do I want to go down that road? Because I will tell you, it took me 2 years to break they call it neuro-linguistic programming, for me to recognize that when I would walk down an aisle, I could actually taste what something, it would actually trigger a memory of what something tasted like. And I thought I was probably every marketer's dream, because I was so influenced by marketing or what I remembered that I was drawn to try to grab things. And I had to really break that pattern. And I understand why it's hard for smokers to quit smoking, because who would I be to criticize them when I had a problem with food? It's just a different thing that you have an addiction to, or a different thing that you can't break a pattern of. And I think that's really basically what it is. It's a repetitive pattern that you have to break. But I don't want to keep everybody too long, because I know it is a Saturday night, but I wanted to make sure I still keep getting on here. But from this book, and I'm going to keep looking into this because this is really interesting to me, it does talk about aging is reversible. And I'm going to tell you that based on what I went through medically, and I'm not a doctor, but I went through some pretty serious medical things. And then part of that was that I gained a lot of weight. And I do feel like inside I'm 20 years younger than I was at the time that this journey started. And I'm gifted. I'm blessed for the things that it's allowed me to do. And that would be my hope and my dream for you. I fully support people getting help where they need it, but I don't want my friends to be stuck, unable to move, if there's a way that we can help each other to be healthier as we move into the later years of our lives. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And maybe take that little walk or drink a little bit more water. Don't make it something that you can't handle, but take those small steps so that you can live the best possible life. I know what it is to be at a BMI of 60, sitting on the sidelines, thinking that if I could get 10 years off the bench, if I was called home, it would be okay. And now I always tell everyone that the Grim Reaper better have a hoverboard and an amazing set of shoes, because I won't go down easily. Thank you guys for being here. Have a beautiful night, and we'll talk soon.